Joining us now is the man of the moment and the man of that highlight you just saw, James Corrigan, multi-champion from the Big 12 championships this weekend. Hey, how does it feel to win 2 championships in the same meet, James?
Oh, it feels great. I feel like, if you're entered into events, you're telling yourself, you go to win, especially at a thing like conference. It's for the glory for sure. It doesn't matter about time. It doesn't matter about anything but getting your team points. And so showing up on the line, that's always the goal. But doing it is pretty surreal.
Steeplechase in the 5K specifically.
And then you won the most points of anyone, right?
Yeah, that was
any
a super
male
big
at
honor.
the championships?
Yeah.
So
Normally
like 3 things you got?
Yeah, I felt very lucky. Normally I goes to a sprinter because they can double back in the 1, the 2, and the relay. And so to know that as a distance guy I was strong enough to do that was pretty cool.
Which of those 3 things did you like the most?
Man.
Because you go back-to-back on Steeple, which is pretty cool.
I definfinely, that's like my bread and butter event. And if anything, it was more relief crossing the line because I was like, ooh, you're the one with the target on your back.
And as an Olympian, are you like, oh man, I got a rep here? Like,
yeah, it's true.
Everyone knows me.
Yeah, it scares me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So it was more relief crossing the line. I feel like there's a stark difference in the videos of me crossing the line of the steeple. I do a very reserved little number 1, and then like for the 5K, I'm just.
Was the 5K the pose? Is that what I saw?
I hit him with.
I saw that.
I think it was pretty fun.
Was that a preconceived thought? You're like, if I win the 5K, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Actually, in my hotel room, I was like messing around, thinking you got to think of some stuff, right? And so I had thought about, I was like, oh, what could I do as a celebration? Like there's realistic. I'm coming in seed number 1. There's a chance I could win. I'm tired, but let's see what we can do. And so I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen some sprinters finish like that. That's kind of cool. And so I was like, maybe I'll do it. And then when you're crossing the line, like, you're not thinking of that. And then as like a couple seconds later, it kicked in. I was like, oh yeah, that's my chance. And so I flashed the camera with a pose.
I love it.
Awesome. That was great.
Well deserved. Last year, somehow, you were a 2nd-team All-American and an Olympian.
Yeah, pretty nuts.
I don't. Like, how are you not a 1st-team All-American? This man is a 1-team All-American.
Well, you gotta give your room to go. Give yourself room to go up. Right?
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, I love to talk to that point. It was my first time ever doing round running last year at the national championships. I mean,
round running? What?
Just like having to turn around and running a prelim and a final within 2 days of each other.
Gotcha.
And so like round 1, round 2 kind of thing. And I hadn't done that because the steeplechase and the 5K never have rounds. It's too long of a race. No one wants them to be run twice at a meet, like they're like, get them over with. And so to do that for my first time at nationals and just have a lot of inexperience there was pretty tough. And I just felt like I had lead on my legs, I didn't know mentally how that would feel, how I'd have to handle that. And so then being able to, 2 or 3 weeks later, do the exact same thing at the Olympic trials and be on my recovery and get a bunch of tips, I was able to turn around and show what I could do. But this year, we're definitely going to improve upon that. Caught me off guard, but I'm ready this year.
So was 5K the next day or was it 2 days later?
It was the next day. So I did steeplechase the previous night and then 5K that following night.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah,
so
even better practice.
How do you do that? How do you sort of recover yet prepare yourself for that?
Yeah,
for a longer race.
Yeah, you have no idea how much confidence it gave me because I have more time than that for nationals to turn around. I have a day in between just to rest. But the biggest thing is as soon as you finish, you are, at least for me, I guzzle a whole thing of Powerade, a whole bottle of water. I've got a protein bar ready, and then we're out there trying to get the lactic out of our legs, get a cool down, immediately have someone bring you food. I'm hopping in the compression boots, playing some video games right after, just to calm down. I'm just kidding. Well, not kidding.
What are you eating? What's the meal?
I had a Chipotle bowl, a nice chicken bowl. So nice. I had to get whatever was closest and then easiest to go down. So.
And then what video games did you play?
We played some Rocket League. Me and Landon were sitting in our boots playing Rocket League together. So
you earned it.
Something with speed in the name. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so as far as nationals go, you just said a moment ago, you show up with the expectation you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
You want to win for sure, but is there like a minimum threshold of success that you feel like is there for you in both of those races, or is it just like win or nothing?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like it can be dangerous if you're setting all your expectations on something because if you don't get it, you're like, oh, everything crumbles. I think what I like to focus on a lot is that I know that I have the capacity to win. I tell myself that all the time because I think it's important. But my actual performances, I don't really worry. Once I get in the race, I'm solely basing things off effort. If I give everything, I'll be super proud of that. And so I guess my minimum expectation is that I'm going to give everything I have, and whatever that yields will be awesome, but I know I'm in shape to win. And so telling myself that opens the door, but doesn't leave me hopeless after if I get second or something. Hope that makes sense.
Because the all or nothing idea, you know, we talk about process based, and it's like, well, yeah. What if on that day someone was, you know, you do your best, and that's good enough most of the time. What does winning a Big 12 title mean to you? Because certainly you've been to the Olympics. Being at the NCAAs is kind of the end game. But winning the conference championship in this league now in year 2, and you've done it back-to-back in the Steeple, and now the 5K, and now the points. What did that mean to you?
It was huge. Yeah, we have a super competitive conference, and these guys are well known in the NCAA just field, like, for being really good runners. And so I think to be able to make hard decisions and hard mental decisions in the race, and then be able to come out with a win was huge for me. It gave me a lot of confidence, and you know, it wasn't easy. And so I think it was all the more satisfying. And some other races, you know, I'm able to get away with, you know, a nice, calm, easy race. And this one, I felt like I had to make a lot of different moves to cover pace, and it would slow down and then speed up. And so it was, I think, just as cool as some of my other wins and accomplishments.
How often does the fact that you ran in Paris and you were an Olympian come up in your day-to-day conversations, and certainly when you are at races like the Big 12 Championship?
Yeah, it definitely comes up pretty often, and I try to like shoo it away when I'm at competitions because I like don't want the pressure, but at the same time recently I've been like, you know what? It's just something that happened. I'm okay with that. That sounds crazy, but I'm like, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh man, that just puts a bigger target on my back. But my teammates are always great about talking about how pressure is a privilege, and I've tried to welcome that. But I think it can be hard when you know, I'm trying my best to do what I did last year, where I peak at the right time, and that often means that people are running much faster times and are much fitter early on, which I have to be okay with. But having, you know, a target on your back, knowing that you're the Olympian and maybe you're not like at your peak yet is kind of a scary thought. So being patient with it is important, but it definitely comes up quite a bit from the announcers.
Have any students on campus in class brought it up with you, or are they just like, oh, that's my friend James in my whatever class?
Some of them don't know still. It's like having
I would assume most don't know,
superhero
right?
identity, yeah. And then randomly, like, I was in some coding class the other week or last semester, and my friend comes to class one day, and he's like, so my brother's a runner, and he told me all about you. He's like, what the heck, man? He's like, why didn't you say anything? And I'm like, what did you want me to lead with?
Way to bury the lead, James.
I don't just want it.
Yeah. And then sometimes, you know, I'll walk out of math class, and some kid, like, loudly says, wait, didn't you go to the Olympics? And I'm like, oh, man, you know, like.
Yeah, I was in the stands. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I visited.
James Corrigan, the Olympian, is with us on BYU Sports Nation.
Here's how I would do it, like a backpack. Just, oh yeah, you see the rings there? Yeah. I wouldn't say it, I would just have it on me. Like the guys that do USA stuff in any sport, they wear like the USA.
Yeah,
you know
right
what I mean?
on.
Yeah.
It's true, I do walk around with my USA backpack. It says USA, so it's discreet enough. You don't see the rings. You're not sure if I bought it. You're not sure if I got it, you know?
So you're not Kenneth wearing a silver medal around town?
Kenneth was the last guy to be doing that.
He's in Chipotle going, your boy is here with the silver.
No, Kenneth is so understated. Speaking of him and having him as a mentor, I spoke with him recently, and he talked about how you train together, and there's just this elite crew that is around, and the marathoners. It's wild that there's a group of Olympians at BYU that are just around and training. So what is that resource like for you to get you ready and keep you fit?
It's super comforting. I mean, I picture a lot of other people's situations, guys in the NCAA that leave and then try to go pro, and I say try because it's a difficult thing, and going pro doesn't always mean you're going to be successful, and so having a huge support system where I still get to see those guys every single day even though they've gone pro, and I get to interact with them, I can text them, is awesome because I feel like it takes out so much of the first time nerves and jitters that I have and allows me to just kind of hop right into elite running.
Okay, you're from Southern California, are you not? Where again?
I just say Los Angeles. I'm like 5 minutes from the Hollywood sign. So.
LA guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Olympics in LA.
Oh,
How awesome would that be?
Oh,
to be in your
I'm going to be there. I'm excited. I have to be there for those. So, I mean, the idea that, you know, 20 minutes away, I could be running on a track from my house, and, you know, my grandpa and all my family and all the little ones can watch would be pretty awesome. So.
Is it the Coliseum or somewhere else?
Yeah, I think they're going to make the Coliseum into a track on the inside there.
Wow.
So
very cool.
Legit,
like
right?
84.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I'm super excited for that.
That's something to think about. as you prepare for.
I'm sure you think about it every day.
Oh, yeah. I got a pin in that goal. It's put away, but I'm going to be there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Outstanding. Congratulations on the 2 Big 12 championships.
Nice work, James.
Best of luck at Nationals as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll take that in stride.
The great James Corrigan. If you see him in class, remind him that he was an Olympian.
Or at Chipotle.